a pretty good answer. I would have to say I can't stand it when brands talk about being reliable and executing and yet don't. They fall short. They don't listen to the end users. They don't listen to the client. A lot of times when you think about brands, it's the same as a mission statement. And mission statements a lot of times incorporate the needs of the clients they're actually trying to sell to.
If you're a good one.
Yeah, and if you're not building your brand around what your clients are trying to accomplish, then you're missing that mark as well. So in my opinion, if you're not reliable, where they come back to you, and if you're not executing on what you really say your brand can do on a daily basis consistently, then you're not going to win. So my answer would be reliable and execution.
Okay, well, you both hit on the content-free facade, so love that. Gosh, I liked the differentiation. I like that you pulled that in. Love me a good stool analogy. But, you know, brands lacking authentic substance. Your point, Jonathan, on that, I think that is paramount to this answer. And so for that reason, we're 2-0.
Ooh,
Doug, I need you to pick it up. I need you to pick it up.
Somebody needs, if you want to talk to me afterwards, we can.
I did get a participation award on the first one.
Well, okay, you get a ribbon.
You get the ribbon. All right, so let's move to our third question, which is all about visible expertise.
Good afternoon. I'm Julie Trowbridge and a member of the Atlanta chapter.
Hi, Julie.
And my question is, what's the advantage to building the visibility of your firm's subject matter experts?
Great question. So in today's industry, if you're not taking your SMEs with you on meetings, then you're missing out. And I can liken this to the staffing industry. If I went on a staffing meeting with a client and they were going to give me a requirement to fill a need, they don't want to talk to me. They want to talk to the recruiter who's actually talking to the candidate. So when I took the recruiters on meetings, which was, oh God, don't do that. I wanted to take the recruiter. First of all, it was fun to go on a meeting with two people. But you go in and literally the manager would just say, hey, thank you. And then go look right at the recruiter and just start talking like you're not even in the room. So I think it's really important that you're approachable and that you're relatable. And those people that are subject matter experts, a lot of times they're not out in front of the client. So it takes a little role playing and working with them. But SMEs are passionate so much so that the authentic side comes out when they're talking about it. So the more that you take a SME with you to a client site, they might sell the deal. They might win the deal for you. So that would be my answer to that, is to be more approachable, be more relatable. I'll talk about that when I talk a little bit later. So,
yeah, I think you're halfway there.
Oh, well, thanks for being honest.
So you're talking about it from the meeting onward, but I think if you're running a true approach to leveraging visible expertise, something we talked about in the statistics earlier on when we were running through, that's beginning at the start. We're incorporating our experts in everything we do, in our marketing, in our content, in video, which is now suddenly a necessity. Carl, you talked about that yesterday. If you're leading with faces, you're beating out logos. When you are establishing your experts from the jump as the person who solves those problems, when they show up at the meeting, they're already known.
Fair.
That's already somebody who is a level up. And if we're talking about trust, you don't have to say, trust this expert. They're trusting them because they've already heard their words, read their words, whatever it may be.
That's a good answer. And actually, when you talk about networking, if you're not taking the SMEs with you on networking events, you're like, some subject matter expert probably doesn't want to go to a networking event. Get them uncomfortable. Get them at the event. Get them talking. They know your product probably more than you do. They know the back end of how everything gets made. So I think that's important to bring them in.
Yeah, I was having a conversation at the networking event last night. Thanks to Open Asset for putting that on for us. But I was having a conversation with a woman who's actually running a visible expert LinkedIn approach for her practice lead. And we were talking specifically about how posts are scheduled out to match with the solicitations that they know on the horizon. We have commentary, we have video, and a lot of this was all mapped out within a couple weeks and then ran for a year. So this is not something that requires you to dedicate copious amounts of time every single day. If it's built into your strategy, visible expertise, it's the people that are the differentiator.
All right. This is tough. All right. You both hit on personal reputation being the currency of trust, and that hits. So that's why I'm having a tough time. But I think I'm going to give it to Joe, since you roped in the marketing tactics into your answer. So you are on the board, 2-0. to 1.
I got one.
All right, you got one. See the clapping? Not that much.
Sympathy clap. It's kind of like
claps.
the golf clap.
All right, let's go to our fourth question, which is going to be all about business development.
Hi, I'm Tara Harris. I work with Brown and Caldwell, and I'm with the SMPS Virginia chapter. And my question is, how has business development in professional services changed over the last 20 years?
Oh, boy.
And what do you see for the future?
Sure.
Great question.
Tara, that's a great one. So story time. 15 years ago, when I started my career, was in the AEC space. I had the title of marketing coordinator for a transportation consulting company. Take a guess how much marketing I actually did in that role. None. I wrote proposals. And not only did I write proposals, I would go into the print room, which was a thing back then, and I would bind those proposals with the nice acetate covers, and then I would chase my principals around for wet signatures. Am I bringing back fear from anyone? Is this? Yeah. So clearly we've had a shift, as luckily we don't quite need to do it to that level anymore. But with that shift, we have added all sorts of other challenges as well, because that was what our view was of this industry for a very, very long time. And organizations like SMPS are providing a platform and education, so we are more than that. And I think one of the biggest ways that we can look at this moving forward is that this is a bullhorn, or an air horn, I guess, to a call to arms for folks. This is your opportunity to continue to grow across this team that's needed to be successful. So we've already talked about a few of these different lenses. We talked about the importance of conferences and networking and visibility and video. These are all elements that desperately are needed in every professional services organization. And the people with the best seat to do this are the ones most closely tied to how we win work in the first place. So this is a place where business development has come from and where we are moving forward now.
It's a pretty good answer, Joe, but it's not mine. I would say if you look at 20 years ago, 25 years ago, everything was done manually. It was you were writing things out on paper, and now everything is shifted. We have a plethora of tools. We have AI that's totally ingrained in what we do. But what hasn't changed is the fact that human connection 25 years ago is as important as it is 25 years later. And in 25 years from now, it's still going to be important. You're still going to have to go on meetings. You're not going to have some fake person walking in on a meeting and you're being an AI agent of you. That's not happening. You're going to have to go on meetings. And I think that there's something to be said for the personalization in this industry, in any industry, be it write it in letters or just showing up early and paying respect. I think ultimately we've leaned so much on products that we've gotten away from the tool or from the personal aspect, which I talked about with being transactional versus relational. I think we became transactional because that's easy. We've got products that can help us. Yeah. But the reality is you learn and you succeed by how you personally interact, not the tools that you use. So that would be my answer to business development.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing that also stands out is we've talked about the importance of proposal, but one thing that stands out in our high growth study year after year is that organizations that are bringing a strategic point of view to their remaining collaterals, their materials that are on their websites, their print sheets, their PDFs, whatever it may be, when you tell cohesive branded stories across those materials, you're getting that same type of effect I was talking about with visible experts at being at the front end. So they're understanding your brand before they see your proposal. They are understanding what sets you apart, what's different, what is going to make you the reason that what makes you the reason they should be selecting you. So those are all also key factors here, is that you have a whole life cycle to talk to your prospects and then clients, and that you need to have a cohesive message through.
And I will say real quick, in our last question, we talked about SMEs. Well, in business development, what has changed? And I think the SMEs were very much behind the scenes, but not anymore. They should be in front of line, front of client all the time. So in business development, if you're writing a plan, make sure you're including your experts in anything you're doing with the client. Make sure they're involved with it.
Did we air horn him?
I was literally starting to reach for it.
But she didn't, because it was a good answer.
It was a good answer.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of head nods. I think we can all agree that BD is a team sport and everyone needs to be involved in growth. I think your final point, Joe, took it, so I am going to give it to Mr. BD. So we're 2-2.
Go me.
But now there is a reason that there are 5 questions and not 4 or 6, because we don't believe in ties. There will be a winner.
This is not soccer.
So there are 5 questions, and we are going to end with our 5th question. Leadership and growth is going to be the subject. So yeah, go ahead.
Hey y'all, I'm Anna Maria Jacob. I'm new to SMPS Alabama.
Welcome.
And my question is, what is one leadership skill that professional services marketing leaders should focus on, but maybe it's flying under the radar?
Oof.
I have to say, I'm going to give you 2, but curiosity and relatability. And I'm going to tell you why. Who in here thinks that curiosity is about asking questions? Kind of. Curiosity is the art of building trust in a conversation. When I was talking with Carl yesterday and I was learning about his life and he was talking to me about his wife and his kids, I was asking secondary questions because I wanted to build trust with Carl. I wanted Carl to know that I was listening to what he was doing. Ultimately, all I wanted to do was create a bond of trust. And I did that through relatability. I did that through, okay, I don't know motorbikes, but I rode a bike. Well, and draw some correlations. So curiosity and relatability are absolutely vital to leadership, team, and growth. That's my answer.
So I'm in trouble because relatable was going to be my answer. So hold on. Luckily, you gave me more
Oh,
options.
yeah, you got 10 other ones.
Respect. I think respect in leadership, and especially in professional services, is when you see it, you know it, you feel it, and it drives you forward. And when you don't see it, that's what Glassdoor is for. So, well, you also, one thing I really love about your care card here, Jonathan, is that you've got words underneath them as well. And the word underneath respect that you used was unconditional. So it's not something that comes with strings. It's something that you bring to every single day. It reminds me, and those who've followed along with the Spiraling Up podcast would know, we talk about movies a lot. It reminds me of the movie Remember the Titans, where attitude reflects leadership. And when you have a crappy attitude, or you have a team full of crappy attitudes, there's a really good chance that that was driven by a leader. And so when leaders are providing a respectful communication or even listening, then you are far more likely to have employees that have an interest in continuing to work for them, strive for them, do harder for them, and push through that last minute proposal deadline for them. So I'll go with respect because you took relatable.
You guys, how am I supposed to choose?
Drum roll.
I'm going to patch in the judges.
You don't have an earpiece on.
You don't know. I could.
Who are you talking to?
I could. All right. There can only be one winner. And so the judges and I have decided that we are going to give it to the best-selling author because...
Yes! Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
This game was rigged.
Whew. I'm excited. What do I get?
Well, you wrote a book.
there is a prize.
I wrote a book. It's right here.
There is a prize.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this before, but the winner gets to take us home with the closing of the conference.
Well, that's funny. I'm a keynote speaker. That's funny how that works.